everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another falconry video. Tonight's video I'm going to be talking about passage falconry mentality, what that means. Before I jump in, if you haven't already, if you could please hit subscribe. Definitely helps me keep this channel up and going. Now tonight, I've been up late just trying to wrap up editing tomorrow's video, which is part 2 on the kestrels, and I just had a thought that I wanted to share, and I thought, you know what? The next video is going to be coming out in September. The beginning of the months that end with an ER suffix, which is a golden time for falconry. It's time of year of trapping, and the time of year when we start hunting. Because in the summertime, our birds are molting, and unless you're training a new baby, you know, you're just like, come on, hurry, it needs to be fall. I guess I'll take up fishing or something, right? Go camping, go just watch TV. So, very exciting time of year. I love the fall, and I love trapping. Now, in falconry, a passage bird. You got your babies, your eyases, and maybe if you pulled a baby, that's an imprint. You've imprinted on you, and you're training it. Then you got your haggards, or a hag for short, which is a bird older than 1 year old that has adult coloration. And we don't trap those, we don't fly those. Those are wild. They probably have a mate. There's this in-between age where you've left mom and dad, but you don't have adult plumage. That is a passage bird, a first-year bird, full-sized, has a little bit of experience, a little life experience under its belt, and it might be migrating. It's a passage bird. Now, before I get into my thought, I gotta say, in falconry, I live in the United States, and here we have to serve an apprenticeship. So there's all this red tape you gotta jump through. You have to take a falconry exam, a written test, and you have to pass it. And once you pass that, you have to find a sponsor, someone who will teach you and be a mentor for the first few years. You have to have all this equipment and housing for the bird that has to be inspected by a government agent. There's all this red tape, and then once you do that, you don't have a bird yet. And then you gotta go out and catch your bird, which that is hard, very difficult. Doesn't have to be though. I learned the hard way. I made every mistake you can make trying to learn how to trap. And there weren't any books or publications on it because when I was a young falconer getting into it, it was kind of a closely guarded secret. So as I learned and made all these mistakes, I wrote literally the book on trapping, Trapping Essentials. If you want to get a copy, go to Western Sporting Publications and you can buy a copy. It's got all the basics on what you need to do to trap all different kinds of birds of prey, whether you're a falconer, a wildlife biologist, a bird bander, doesn't matter. Good information. And this fall, I want to do a lot of trapping videos. I've hesitated to do it, and now finally I'm like, you know what? I want to get some good information out there. So I am going to be trying to demonstrate trapping a lot of different species this fall. I'm going out with other falconers and helping them get their birds. But want to go back to the whole point, which is passage falconry mentality. Remember I said, here's this big, long process. And even if you're in a country where you don't need a license, there's still a lot of work that goes into getting into falconry and acquiring a bird one way or another. When you do, especially here, kind of, it's like, wow, I've done it. I've caught a red-tailed hawk. I've caught a kestrel, whatever it may be. And it's been so much work. And probably any previous animal experience you've had, maybe it'd be something like a pet, a dog. And the mentality is like, I want to keep you forever. Oh, you're my hunting companion. We're going to foster this amazing hunting partnership and go out into the field and fly and hunt and have success and have amazing life experiences together. That's kind of the mentality. And it's understandable. I'm not even saying that it's wrong. But one thing that I don't see is the classic passage falconry mentality. I don't see it with really any falconers that I know well in America. And I'm trying to think in other countries, the same thing. And what it used to be is this. Falconry sort of came about, we believe, we hypothesize based off the evidence we have and the records we have, as a way to get food. Okay, especially in the lean months in the winter, you don't have refrigerators and grocery stores. You don't have tropical parts of the world shipping in crops and food in the dead of winter to your area. And so falconry, you trap a migrating whatever. Oh, I caught a migrating peregrine falcon, a migrating goshawk, a migrating saker falcon. Now I'm going to use this bird. I'm going to go out, I'm going to hunt with it. And I have protein for my family and I. And it's a first-year bird. I'm helping it through the season. It's helping me and my family through the season. And then once it's spring, well, the bird probably has what they call wanderlust. It wants to migrate. It gets these migration urges, and it's It's molting feathers, so it's not really up for hunting in most instances. And the quarry itself, life has returned to the land. It's easier for you to get food. There's greenery all around. There's stuff for you to hunt in easier methods. And so why on earth keep this bird? Because now the bird that was a provider becomes a consumer. Now that bird is taking food away. And we don't really care much about that anymore. We have jobs and refrigerators and buy captive bred quail, things like that. So we don't really think of it. But for the people who started falconry in their countries of origin, at that time in the spring, well, set the bird free and go on with your life. Go on with your farm or hunting or whatever trade you have. And then in the fall, capture another migrating passage bird. Now, that is not a right way to approach falconry, nor is it a wrong way, but it's a way that we don't see a lot. And, there's some people who will intentionally do it, but you think about it, when you're an apprentice, you're a new falconer, that idea is unfathomable. You might have your sponsor recommend, hey, okay, you've flown a red-tailed hawk for one season. You should have some more diverse experience before you upgrade in rank. Why don't you set the red-tail free and get a kestrel? Okay, you have that kind of thing happening where people will give you a recommendation like that, but very few people just view falconry as a seasonal sport. And instead, it's like, I want to invest long-term. Now, it is amazing what you can do long-term with a bird. It's amazing what you can, season after season after season, that you can fine-tune and learn to anticipate each other. And it is true. You can foster a dynamic, incredible, impressive hunting relationship. And it's no different than with a hunting dog, right? Or even a horse. That is true. And there is nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to remind and suggest this as another approach to falconry. There is nothing wrong with, you can be a great falconer and just be like, hey, I'm going to go out and trap a merlin, fly it for 4 months, and set it free. What's wrong with that? That could be good in the summer. So, there's nothing wrong with that. So the passage falcon, a bird migrating that first year, it's always such an exciting thing. You go out there and every bird you meet, here's a red tail. Maybe this one hatched on a farm down the street. Maybe this one hatched 7,000 feet higher in elevation, and its parents were hunting tree squirrels and ground squirrels, where this one was hunting mice in a field, and here these first-year birds are now, hunting the same field. You don't know. Where do they come from? What experiences they had? Excuse me. I'm just getting so excited talking. This is just a subject. Trapping a passage bird and training them is just, I love it. I absolutely love it. And so I hope that this thought at some point in your falconry journey can be of benefit to you. Just remember, there is nothing wrong with flying a bird temporarily and setting it free. It goes counterintuitive to the idea of keeping a pet. You buy a dog and you train it and you keep it all its life, right? Usually if you get a horse or something, you're training it for long term. Or in my case, you get a llama and you're going to work with that long term. But it is okay. It is so special to temporarily, there's this whole cycle of energy, this cycle of life and death, and in this circle, to take a bird and then for a season ride with it, and then in the spring set it back free to go and do its thing. There's just something very beautiful about it. Very pure, and again, as far as we can read things correctly, the oldest form of falconry. And in that sense, it's kind of a fun thing to practice. So, throwing it out there for you. I hope you found this video moderately interesting. Let me know what you do in your region, in your country. Do you know a lot of people who practice falconry in this way? Like I said, in mine, most people don't. People get a bird and hang on to it. Usually, if it's a good bird, they just build that relationship. But let me know what happens in your area, and let me know your thoughts on the training of passage birds. And again, if you want to know how to trap, Trapping Essentials, the book I wrote, Western Sporting Publications is where you can get it. And look forward to many trapping videos in the coming months. Thank you, and as always, happy hawking.